All right, so we are here at the Hope Project offices in Lakeland, Florida, and we just want to take a minute and talk about offices, talk about office space. It's a really exciting time for a growing small business or a growing nonprofit to get to that point where you're starting to have a conversation about office space. Is this something we need? Is this financially responsible? Is this a good investment? And so we just want to talk towards that and knowing our story, where we came from, kind of how we started Hope Project. We started early 2013 on our back porch, actually. So we didn't really know where to start. We didn't have any partners, we didn't have investors, we didn't have donors. Really no one knew about what we wanted to do except for us, and so we started on our back porch with a book.
Yep.
Spent $50. We were all in, $50, how to start a nonprofit, and then about 3 months later, we crafted our application to the IRS to become a nonprofit. And
we put together a board of directors, and
Yeah.
we had told key people in our life, and
we had actually gotten about $400 worth of donations had come in, and that's what we needed for that application. And then we were a nonprofit.
we actually took the check
Yeah.
for the donation to apply to the bank to open a bank account.
Yeah,
for the project.
yeah. So we started from the ground, from nothing, on our back porch, and then we were a thing. We were a nonprofit, so we had a little office in our house, in our dining room.
Which that's a very generous term for what that area is in our kitchen.
Yeah.
Our house is only 997 square feet.
Yeah.
So there's a space off of the kitchen where a small dining room table fits, and that's where the office
That
is.
was our office, and so we just took that table and said, when we need to work on Hope Project, we'll do it from right here. I was working full time doing lawn care. Megan was doing odd things here and there, trying to
Not odd thing.
Well, I mean, she didn't have a job other than Hope Project, but she was trying to get some funds coming into our family as well, so we could buy groceries. But
Right.
so that office space, we took over that kitchen eventually. We had calendars on the wall. We had a printer. We had, it was an office and
Shelving.
shelving, and we did it all. And then we actually kind of outgrew that, and we gave up our master bedroom.
Right. So our house has 3 bedrooms.
Right.
And we only have one child, and so we moved from the master bedroom to a smaller bedroom that was available, that was being used as a guest room, and put our office in there.
Yeah, so our master bedroom became the Hope Project office, and then we got to a point, really a turning point for us is we started adding team members. So we were now hiring staff. We brought someone on to be a part of the team. It no longer was the Than and Megan show. This was a nonprofit that existed and was growing and adding team members. And that's when we got kind of the point of, do we need an office space? Do we need to take our work out of our home and into maybe a more productive space, a more organized space, something like
A
that?
space that's more appropriate to share with another employee.
Yeah. I mean, we had someone coming to our house to put in a day's work during the week. And so really it was a scary step. And we reached out, we started looking at spaces online.
And honestly, I think for me, I felt like it was selfish.
Right.
Because I felt like I wasn't sharing my home or something. Like I felt guilty. I felt bad in the process. But I knew it was something that needed to be done.
Yeah, but it was a scary step, and especially financially. That's obviously the first hurdle is can we afford this? Is this a wise investment?
Are donors gonna
Yeah.
feel like this is appropriate
Yeah.
step?
And so we found a space that we loved in downtown Lakeland, Florida. Great location, great space. We had friends with office space there that were entrepreneurs.
And we had priced out a couple different spaces before
Yeah.
we found that space that you're referencing, and we had sent the specs to our board. And our board, the first office space that we actually presented to our board of directors, they came back and said that's too small.
Yeah.
And so we were not expecting
No,
that
not at all.
response. I think we almost felt like bad presenting that we wanted to get offices to our board, and so but our board was like, this is a great step in the space you're looking at.
Yeah, so we found this space, and honestly, it was a major jump. Real numbers here, it was $800 a month is what we were gonna have to pay to get into this space, and it was the perfect space, we felt, and so we were on board to do it. And I remember thinking, if I have to go find more donors that would give directly towards office space, because they know the value of it, they see the value of that, looking at a Hope Project as more of small business side than just charity work side. But we ended up not going with that space. And it's a long story that we don't have time for in this video. But we landed in an amazing space here in Lakeland, Florida, where we got 900 square feet of office space for $400 a month. And so it was kind of like, we can't not do this
Right.
at that amount. And I know when you're thinking of the money side of it, especially with nonprofit work, and I've actually seen someone say, I'll never have an office space because I want more dollars going to the people I'm trying to help. And I get that totally. And if you're happy.
And we want to be wise with the money
Yeah.
that's given to Hope Project. And
Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, for the first 6 months, we had someone write us a check, a donor write a check for 6 months worth of office space,
Yeah.
and provided all of the funding for the first 6 months of our space because
Yeah.
they valued that for our organization.
Yeah, and so we decided to go for it financially. We went all in, and immediately 2 things happened with Hope Project. The first one was kind of unexpected. I know you kind of felt this different sense about the work we did not being in our home.
Right.
And so I don't know.
Yeah. So, like every suitcase, we packed every trip supply, every donation we received, every paper that was printed was stored and kept in our home.
Mm-hmm.
So, like leading up to trips,
Yeah.
we would have suitcases.
Yeah.
At one point we had 12 suitcases in our house
Yeah.
full of supplies.
Yeah.
That was just there all the time.
All the time.
So either whether we were working on whole project stuff or not, it was just a constant reminder of what we were doing and something that we had to work around as a family.
Yeah, and we had a child. Our son was 2, 3, 4 as we're going through this as a family, and it's kind of unfair to him in his own house to be like, no, you can't touch that stuff. It's not even, it doesn't even belong to our family, but it's always here, that type of thing. And
Right.
he wanted to be a part of the things we were doing. And so getting into space in Lakeland, it's a great space. It gave us storage space. It gave us place for donations. It gave us place for paperwork. It gave us places to work and be productive. And I know you felt a lot less stress going into trips.
Right. The very first trip we took
Yeah.
that we had office space, I felt significantly less stressful because when I was at home, my mind wasn't on the suitcases and the supplies and everything that was in our living room or in our bedroom or in our
Wherever it would fit. Yeah.
in our 997 square foot house.
Yeah.
So
And so that was a great plus right away. This kind of this stress level and this release, this beginning of separation of work and in our home life, but also productivity went through the roof. I mean, the things we were able to accomplish, the time we were able to put in was more valuable. We could get more done in less time. Just our team members were able to work whenever they needed to in the space that had all the information and all the dates and all the things they needed at their disposal without having to come into our master bedroom at our house and do it. And so productivity grew. And then really, as you watch what Hope Project was able to do financially since then is incredible. And I don't attribute it all to office space.
No.
But I know when you're running a small business or a nonprofit and you're thinking of the dollars, of where do I reinvest them? Where do I put them? Where are they going? Our last year, working from home, Hope Project was 2015. Hope Project raised $121,000, which was exciting. We did it from our bedroom.
which we are incredibly
grateful for. With the first full year of office space that we had, we raised $377,000 as an organization. And so what we spent on the offices is less than 2% of what we raised. And so I'd rather have that 98% of $377,000 to do the work with,
Yeah.
to run the organization,
Yep.
to reach out and change the world, than 100% of that $120,000.
Right,
And so
right.
it was a huge investment. It's paying off. It's great for our family. It's great for our organization.
Yep.
And I would say if you're out there, your small business is growing, your nonprofit work is growing, your dreams are growing, and you're at that place where you say, home office space, how do I make the call? I'd say go for it. I'd say talk to some key people. If you have board of directors, if you have volunteers, if you got people that really believe in you, talk to them about it. Show them kind of different levels of what your plan could be,
Right.
and then go for it. Worst that can happen, what do you think?
You lose it all. No,
You
I'm
lose
kidding.
it all. No. Worst that can happen, well, for us, it was $400 a month. We paid out for a year, and at the end of that year, honestly, we signed 2 more yearlies because the investment was worth it in productivity, stress level, fairness to our family, all across the
Right.
board. And so I
And
say,
we have a growing team, and
yeah. So I say go for it. If you want someone to talk to about it, we're here. If you're at that stage, we've been there. We know what it's like. We're here for you. But we just want to take a couple minutes and talk about office space here in Lakeland, Florida.